That boy who used to spend days in the garage with only his imagination and a couple hand tools has gotten lost in the grind of the real world. I think it's time we find him.
Today's woodworking project is easy. Easy in its truest, most basic form, but we're going to add a couple design elements that hopefully elevate it to another level. Nothing too fancy, more like Applebee's on a date night. And it's under $1. No, not that buck. This one. 4 quarters, 10 dimes, 20. And that'll probably cover the stain, staples, and the glue. But it's one of those things that can change the look of a room in an instant, and all for $1. This week, I found a couple wood bed rails, an old falling apart pine desk contraption, and some old tools laying on the floor of the garage. And I knew one of my trolls had hit the free piles up on the way home from work one day. So I think it's only fair I knock off a project that she's been wanting. We're looking for 3/4 inch material to start with. If you're doing it the easy way, probably 12 to 16 inches in length of a 1x5 or 1x6. Now, I'm a little low on 1x, so I'm just ripping a 2x4 in half, and I had to stop part way through. I heard the engine whining, the blade wasn't pulling the wood in on its own. Yeah, I probably could have forced it, but I stopped. And honestly, I've never had this happen and not entirely sure where to go from here. The wood is under so much pressure that even with a riving knife, she's closing up. Even though I hate to do it, I think I'm going to have to run it through the other way, which means I risk my 2 boards being different widths. And sure enough, they are. This is a problem with using scrap wood, so we feed the wind and smooth the 2 boards out quickly and easily enough. So while everyone else in the world is using 3/4 inch stock and done with the project, I'm probably down to 5/8 inch, which quite honestly is more than enough for what we're doing and just getting started. So we're looking for 4 to 5 inches wide and maybe 10 to 16 inches tall. As I said before, the easy way is just 1 board, and Etsy is full of people selling that look. It's just a little too basic for me. So I'm going to piece my fronts together, 3 pieces total, with a split 2x4 being the main or the focal point, and the other 2 bringing us to 5 inches in total, I hope. I raid my bucket of slivers to find the highlight board. This piece is going to stick out a touch between the other 2. Just a little bit different thickness. The idea is it gives that front some much needed character, depth, and a little texture. It's common in the Craftsman style, although we're really just hinting at it with this piece. Rough idea in the back of my head, I hit up the table saw and quickly ripped the little slats down to width, then give the piece another look. There will be a full cut list in the description, but I'm building the only way that I know how, the only way I enjoy, by the seat of my pants. Basic idea and just running with it, adapting on the fly. And man, oh man, I love this blue stain on this board. I mean, it's gorgeous. This is the piece. I hit up the table saw, rip the width, and prepare for the final layout. Each faceplate will have these 3 boards: the main board, the highlighter, the sliver, and the smaller anchor. Now, I've always envisioned it: anchor, sliver, main board from left to right. But now that I'm looking at it, maybe making one that way and reversing the other. Just a little twist to the game of life. Liking that, I cut it to length at the miter saw, then hit them up with the Went bench top, 120 grit, rounding over the edges, hoping it gives neat lines and a little bit of separation between the boards for the stain to group and gather. I hit the layup one more time, I hope, and fiddle back and forth for a bit, then settle. I really like the blue dye, and I want it so that the majority of each piece bleeds into the inside versus the outside, where honestly it just feels and looks a little off for me. I know, issues. We talked about it last week. And then we glue it up. Tight bond 3, the usual for me, and clamp. and I'm already liking the lines of this piece. I let it dry overnight because for once in my life, I'm not in a last-minute rush. And in all honesty, this is one of the most enjoyable builds so far. I'm getting a chance to take my time and try to do it right. Although in the back of my head, that next design element is going, "You've never tried me, and without me, the piece breaks." So now I'm more stressed than that 2x4 caught in the table saw. I square up the edges of the fronts at the miter saw and measure up for the back frame. Then hit up the bucket of strips again. I need to build 3/4 of a frame around the back, only the top open. I settle on 3/4 inch stock and 1 1/4 wide, then cut the length, then rip the width, then cut the miters. And now that I'm thinking about it, I probably could have skipped the cut to length and just cut the length with the miters at the same time. I then sand them all up. Normally, I skip the sanding of the back. For some reason, I always focus so much on the front and forget the back even exists. I mean, no one really sees it, but I'm trying to improve on those issues I have. All right, so we have to put a frame in the back. Only on the sides and the bottoms, though. The top will be open. I'm going to set it in about 1/4 inch from the edge. Again, this is just a design choice. I like the look of it, give it a nice reveal, a slight shadow against the wall, and it breaks the lines up so it doesn't look to stick out as much. Now comes that design element that's been calling my name. I want something, let's call it a carving. A simple carving in the corner of the main boards. I'm not sure carving is the correct word though, but I want this design to be etched. If I had a laser, this is where I would use it, but I don't. So I picked up this little box of 11 carving tools from Harbor Freight, and like all the reviews promised, dull as dull can be. And of course, I can sharpen them, but that's one more thing I need to learn before I get the project done, and I don't have the patience. So I practice a little, and I feel I'm denting the wood more than carving. But it doesn't stop me from going forward. Big shock. I end up taking my wood burning kit and putting in the blade accessory. And it's the sharpest blade I can find. And I try to carve with that. I find if I trace the line slowly and increase the depth in 3 to 4 passes, the blade naturally follows the path set before it. Then I can come in at an angle, flip to the other side of the line, come in at that opposite angle, and a tiny sliver of wood comes out, and I'm carving. Ish. Then I take my dull V groove and slowly widen the details. And of course, I do it all wrong. Never, ever put your hand in front of the blade. I don't care how dull it is. Too hard of a push, a slight slip, and a pound of flesh will be removed. Not being able to see the lines as well as I would like, I decided to drop some stain on it to see my progress. At first, I love it. I mean, look at how it pools in there, nice and dark. And then, yeah, realization, I'm not that good at this. Now, I wasn't expecting to be, that's not true. I was expecting to be pretty good at this, even being my first try. It just didn't look that hard. It's a fairly simple pattern. It's just tracing lines, but I didn't expect the pine to kick the blade around so much. But overall, I'm still quite pleased with it. I'll study up on it, sharpen my tools, and get better. I'll just finish this piece up with golden oak so it doesn't dry in layers, and we'll move on to the other side. Then maybe do a little more with this one. The stain has done some great things, letting me see the lines. I can now maybe clean it up a little. Glue up goes well. Staples to hold the frame together and glue to the faceplate. Once dry, I'll put some screws in the back for strength. Okay, so here we are. Wall sconces designed for dried flowers or fake, well, let's call it artificial floral arrangements. Look, I think the carving adds a nice touch. Looks great from a distance. Close up, yeah, I got some work to do on this before I would charge anyone for it. I love the little rise of the tiny sliver. I just think it adds to the piece versus just a straight up board front. It changes those lines in an instant. And all for $1. And that's for both of them if you split the 2x4. You would be hard pressed to find something that changes a wall for less than that. And if you like the dollar builds, I have quite a few of them in the link kicking around here. So, you have a wall that needs a little inspiration? Is it something you might build? If so, go in the old box style or the Craftsman twist. Or maybe black and white poly for a sleek, modern look. Or break out the Vaseline and do the white peeling from last week. As always, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Or share the video if you think there's someone that might like it. Until the next time.